Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Elin, if you're new to my face. It's very nice to meet you. Like I said, I'm Elin. I make YouTube videos about health, veganism, minimalism, secondhand, thrifting, self-care, self-love, compassionate, lifestyle videos. And if that's something that interests you, maybe you want to subscribe to my channel down below, and that would make me very happy. Or if you like this video, that would also make me very happy. But today's video, as you can tell by the title, I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about my kind of like autism story, because I mentioned in one of my, one of my like first videos that I have autism, and I have a feeling that this might be a very long video, so bring yourself a cup of something. This is homemade kombucha, so I'm gonna have a sip of that. Oh, that was a strong one. But yeah, I've been wanting to make a video like this, talking about my autism for so long. And if you see my YouTube channel, I haven't been a YouTuber for that long, but I knew when I wanted to, for so many years I've been wanting to create a YouTube channel, and I knew that this video I wanted to have on my YouTube channel, talking about my experience with having autism. And I actually googled what autism is, and Google said this. Okay, Google says this. Autism is a complex neurobehavioral condition that includes impairments in social interactions and developmental language and communication skills, combined with rigid, repetitive behaviors. Because of the range of symptoms, this condition is now called Autism Spectrum Disorder, or ASD. And yeah, when I googled what autism is, you get the more typical. When you think of someone with autism, you probably think of someone just like what Google said, someone who has a problem communicating to other people, have no really like social skills, and can't look people in the eyes, and probably are really good at math. And to be more of like a savant autistic kind of person like Rain Man. Speaking of Rain Man, I can't tell you how many times I have gotten that comment when I tell people that I have autism, and they just look at me and they're like, "What? You're not Rain Man?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, no, I'm not." And like, if I would gotten money every time I've gotten that comment, like, "You're not Rain Man," I would be rich by now. But yeah, it surprises me how actually little people know about autism, and how they think that it's actually a kind thing to say when they say, like, when I say I have autism and they say, "But you don't look autistic." It's like, okay, well, you don't look normal. Or what should I say? Like, "Oh, thank you, that's very kind." I think when people say that, they mean well, but it comes off very uneducated, to say the least. Because people with autism, the spectrum is so wide. You can be anywhere from Rain Man here, you have no like social skills, and you can be here like you can't really notice that you have something, or whatever. Like, you can be whenever. And if I would have someone next to me who have autism, we would both be very different. Google says it's a complex mental disorder, and it really is. And I don't have really any trouble communicating for myself or looking people in the eyes. I had when I was younger, but I learned that that's what you do. But I just wanted to make this video because I think it's important to talk about, because it's a very common mental disorder. And and I want to make it because, like I said, people are so not well educated in this subject, because the amount of comments I've gotten, like, "Oh, so what are you really, really, really good at?" Like, they think that I'm Rain Man. and they take this like math problem and they give me like, oh, solve this, and I'll be like, what? And yeah, so I wanted to make this video to talk about my story, and maybe so that you can be a bit more, if you meet someone who has autism, or to just be a bit more open with it. That it's a common mental disorder, and yeah. So I hope you like this video. I didn't really have a lot of friends, and I was bullied quite a lot. And I'm actually getting quite sick of people always going on about I was bullied, because it sounds like everyone was bullied at some point in their life. And I would just wish like the bully would come out and say something that, yeah, I bullied people. But yeah, I was bullied and made fun of a lot in different ways. There were people creating accounts on MSN and telling me to go kill myself. People would come up to me, say that I was a freak and a retard. And yeah, school was not fun for me at all. And I noticed very, very, very early on in my kid years in school and my teenage years that I was not acting and being and talking or whatever like everyone else. And my life was consumed with the word normal. That was my biggest wish of all time. I just wanted to be like everyone else. I wanted to act like everyone else. I wanted to have friends like everyone else. I just wanted to be normal. And when I think back on it now, being normal is boring. Being normal is so boring. I do not want to be like everyone else, like at all. I just want to be me, and I love who I am today. But then this is a typical autistic like trait, that they don't really take a lot of space, and they just be like the fly on the wall kind of thing. At least that was for me. I watched people on when I was in school, how they acted around people, how they talk, how they moved. I watched everything, and then I would try it out for myself and see how it worked. Sometimes it did work, sometimes it did not. But I just really wanted to be normal. I didn't want to have autism. I hated this thing I was born with. I absolutely loathed myself. I hated myself when I was younger. And I think I hated myself from the time I started school. And what was I, 7 years or something like that? 8-7 years. And then I was 8 or 7 years old, and then I started to love myself maybe when I was like 16, 17, 18. And so it's a lot of years of trying to get to know myself, and really loving myself and respecting myself and be kind to myself, and learning about myself, like the good things and the bad things about autism and what it is for me. But it took a long time. And I just wanted to tell the worst actually bully story that I actually have. And it was, I was in, I think you say junior high when you say it in American terms. So I was about like 13 or 14 years old, no. Yeah, something like that. And when I was in junior high, I wasn't, again, I'm gonna use the word normal quite a lot here, because my life was consumed by the word normal, and what my idea of normal was. And I was not in a normal junior high class, because I was in my classmates and I, we were like 10 boys and girls, and we all had our different mental issues and disorders, and we all looked different, we acted different, we all had something, you know. One of the girls of my class, she had ADHD, like really severe ADHD, and another girl, she had something else I don't know how to pronounce. But I loved my classmates. I had a really good time there. I learned a lot, and I'm so grateful for that time. But that class was very excluded from the rest of the school. So that was good in one way, because we were safe with each other. But when we were like out in the normal school, again normal school with the normal kids, they were making fun of us and calling us stuff. They would come up to us and say that we were retards, we should kill ourselves, no one would miss us and stuff like that. And we were all very scared, basically, of the normal kids. And one time, me and my classmates, we were gonna have a gym session. We had gym class, and so the boys went into their locker room, and us girls, we went into ours. And us girls, we came into the locker room, and we see 2 other girls in there, and they're having fun or something. I don't know what they're doing. They're like being really bitchy. They're just like, oh my god, like that. And it wasn't weird that there were actually 2 girls in the girls' locker room. That was not the strange thing. The strange thing was there were 2 boys in there, and those 4 people, they were all in the same class, and those 4 people were known to make my phone. Those 4 people were known to bully people. And so we were like 5 girls, me and 4 other girls, and we came in there and we just sat down, and we were expecting the boys to leave, because they were like, oh shit, okay, there's another class coming in, they're gonna change, we are not supposed to be in here, and they were supposed to leave. They did not leave. And we were just sitting there for 5, 10, 15 minutes or something like that, and those 2 girls, they were just smearing on their so-called confidence and makeup. They were using makeup, and they were just doing it like that, and they were having so much fun. And what I can say today, just looking at them then, I was totally being like, oh, those 2 bitches and those 2 guys, there's idiots, jerks, dicks, blah, blah. But they were just as insecure as everyone else. They were just trying to fit in. But that's not an excuse for being really cruel and being really mean. It does not. And I was, at this point in my class, I was the only one who had really worked on myself, trying to build up self-confidence and to stand up for myself. And my other girl classmates, they didn't have that confidence. So after like 15 minutes, we were like, oh my god, we're gonna miss gym class, our teacher's gonna get upset that we're not there. And so they started to change and to take off their clothes, but they were doing it like really put on a towel so the guys in the back wouldn't see them, because of course you don't want to get changed in front of a guy you don't know, or of course not. I didn't even want to get changed in front of those 2 girls. And I was like looking at my classmates, I was looking at those 2 boys and those 2 girls, and they were like putting on their so-called confidence and blah, being real horrible human beings actually. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna get changed like this. And so I stood up and I prepared the speech in my head, and I said, hey, as you can see that we are gonna have a gym class soon, and we prefer that you guys not be here when we change. Could you 2 boys please leave? And in my head I was so sure that since I asked nicely that they were gonna be like, yeah, of course, sorry, we're gonna leave. That did not happen at all. So I said that, and those 4 people, they started looking at me, and they knew who I was. Now I sound like such an ego, but since I was not the popular kid in school, well, I was the unpopular kid, but everyone knew who I was because they liked to make fun of me. And so they just started looking at me, and they just threw all of the bad words they had in their vocabulary. They just threw it at me. They said, Elin, you're such a retard, you should go kill yourself, you're a fucking psycho, you're this, you're that, you're blah 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 blah. And they were just throwing all of these horrible things at me, and I was in shock. I just stood there and be like, this was not what I expected. So I just stood there, And at that point, my classmates, they actually left the room. And I do not hold this against them at all to this day, because like I said, they did not have the self-confidence to stand up for themselves. So how would I expect them to stand up for me when I was, yeah. Well, I don't hold this against them today. And I didn't do that at that time either. So I was all alone with those 4 people there. And I suddenly got this rush of energy and I ran out of the room. And I went and I picked up, or I went to the teacher and said to him what happened. And he got so angry, so he went with me to the girls' locker room. And we went in. And then at that point only those 2 girls were in there. The boys were not there. And he said, "Oh, girls, you're gonna leave now, right?" And he's like, "Oh, so what happened here?" And they're like, "Oh, no, nothing happened." And so my teacher just looked at me and he said, "So Elin, just get changed. We will talk about this later. The other people are waiting. Get changed and we'll talk about it later." And I was, oh, sorry, kombucha coming up. So I was like, "Okay, yes." So I went into the room again, alone with those 2 girls. And I sat down and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna breathe for a bit. And they were like 2 meters away from me or something. And they were just like, being like, whispering so I could hear what they were saying, basically. Yeah, saying bad things about me. And I felt my eyes tearing up. I felt that I was gonna get really sad. And I did not want to give those 2 bitches that satisfaction of me crying in front of them. So I thought, okay, I am going to go into the bathroom and cry there, change there, go into class, and yeah. So, but to go into the bathroom there, I had to actually get past them. So I was here, those 2 girls were here, the bathroom was there. So I had to go right past them to actually get into the bathroom. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna push them at the side. So I just went through them and I just went like that to get through them. And they were laughing at me, thinking it was so funny to say all of this to me and being real mean, horrible beings. And when I opened the bathroom door, guess who was in there? Yes, those 2 boys were in there. So at that point, I had those 2 girls behind me, I had the boys in front of me, and they were standing like, just like, those were here and the girls were there. And the boys started pointing at me and the girls started touching me, like, and they were laughing at me so hard. And be, "Oh, Elin, you're so stupid, oh my god, you're so hilarious, you fucking retard, haha," being like, just like that. And at that point I completely broke down. I started crying like crazy. And so I actually, and I still really wanted to get into the bathroom so I could cry by myself for a bit, but those boys were in there. So I actually managed to take those 2 boys and throw them out. I don't know how I did that, and I just threw them out. I closed the door and I locked the door, and I could hear them outside continues their talk about me, and they were laughing so much because it was so much fun. They were having such a good time. And yeah, after a little while they left, and I was sitting in there the entire gym session until my teacher came and found me. Yeah, that is actually the worst bully story I have. I have a lot of bully stories of people being very mean to me and mean to my classmates and stuff, but that was by far the worst. And if you wonder what happened to those people, I don't think they remember this today. If I see, I know exactly who they are. I don't think they remember this today, but they got a lot of shit their way after this, I can tell you that. Not from me, but from teachers, from their parents, from everything. And I know at one point we actually called the cops of one of them who were really mean to me, and we yeah, she got a charge or whatever you want to call, I don't know what it's called, but we filled out a police complaint against her. It was that bad. And this was all because I was not acting like everyone else. Or I still don't really know why people bullied me so much, and no, because how I act now and today is not that different from how I acted then. I really think I'm a very kind, compassionate, happy, and willing to listen and to learn kind of person. But it didn't, I don't know, did people see me that differently? I don't know. I really don't know. And when I like graduated from high school, at that point I actually was quite fond of myself. I actually quite liked myself, because years and years of therapy and reading a lot of self-love books and yeah, really finding myself. I really don't get it, actually. There's something, I don't really think about it that much today, because, well, I don't know, what happened, so I can't really tell what, no, I don't know, I really don't get it at all. But they say that people who bully, they do it because they're jealous, or because they want to feel better about themselves or whatever. And maybe that maybe be true. I have no idea. I really don't care. It's never an excuse to bully someone to make you yourself feel better, you know? So yeah, that was my worst bully story. So, autism. Yeah. I actually, like I said, today I love this part of me. I don't want to change who I am. And thanks to my autism, there's ups and downs with having a mental disorder. And like one down thing with my autism is that I have very hard time understanding math, for instance, or I can get very easily stressed and quite anxious. But my autism has actually made me more compassionate, and if I put my mind to something, be sure I will do it. And if I'm really interested in something, be sure I will learn it, and I will be damn good at it. It's like when I was a kid, one of my typical autistic trait is also that you easily go into a hobby and then you learn everything, and then you're really good at it. Like you read, you watch movies, you watch everything about that topic, and you are very good at it. I loved dolphins when I was a kid. I loved dolphins. I watched every documentary I could find. I had so many books. I loved dolphins. Oh my god. Another thing I loved when I was a kid is watching Disney movies. I still by heart know like everything, every line, every song, everything from so many Disney movies. My memory, once I actually want to learn something, it's stuck there and I know it. And other things are very, 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 very hard to learn and to get into that brain of mine. I really want people to know that autistic people or autism is not just what you see on television. You know, when you see someone playing someone who has autism on TV, is always someone who's like very savant, which is called like someone who's very have no social skills and they're very good at one specific thing, like Rain Man, for example. Or the autistic person does not like physical touch, or they can't communicate and want to look in someone's eyes and stuff like that. And I am not like that at all, but I still have autism. So this was more just a sit down and talk, and just so you guys could get to know me a bit more, and maybe you learn something new about autism, and that would mean a lot if you actually did. And if you have questions about me, or I'm not an autism expert, or yeah, you know, but if you have questions to ask me, leave them down below. And yeah, I hope you liked this video. It was a bit random. I just wanted to just sit down and talk just about it, just whatever I had in mind, and just tell you my like worst bully story, basically. But yeah, if you liked it, thumbs up, subscribe, and take care of yourself. See you guys in our next video. Bye!